Okay guys, welcome back to Sanity Maintenance. Today we're going to be discussing stepped hulls. What is a stepped hull? Or an air step that you have on a boat. They call it a lot of different names. This is what we're talking about here. A lot of times you see on a lot of the newer boats being made, you'll see where they're actually having this gap put in them. And there's a reason for it. There's also a lot of manufacturers that are claiming that they come out with this. This is actually a design that goes to a seaplane, and there's a reason for it being on there. And this has been around since the 1930s area, so this is nothing new out on the market. At least it is for a boat maybe, but no, it's been around for a while. So regardless of what some people are saying, it's been around for a while. So let's get into this. Alright guys, getting into we'll actually go back in history here where it actually started at. So we get into the seaplane. The bottom of the seaplanes generally had a hull itself, the pontoons you would say. This is basically what they look like, is this right here. Going along, got your airplane up here on the top side. There's your propeller and all this other bullshit. Sorry I don't have all this really cool stuff to going on. But getting into the actual piece here of why they put these on here is when the plane went to go take off, the vacuum created from the water pulling down causes it to create a suction. So when the plane wanted to actually take off, the plane couldn't take off. So this is the main reason where this design come from. The planes actually worked really well, but they didn't have a whole lot of horsepower back then, as far as really big engines to get them off the water and get them pulling up off the water. So in order to fix this, they came back and decided they would create a notch into the bottom side of it here. Well, creating this notch here caused, once the water to start flowing through here, it created an air gap. That air gap would set the whole ass end of her basically free, filling it with air in the back side of it there. So this is how this design actually came to be, and why it is like it is. By having this here, the plane was actually be able to lift off now because the back side of it was actually free. And if you needed to land the plane, you needed to land the damn plane exactly down in the middle, not head first, because once it hit here, it would create such a suction, it would actually cause the plane to roll if you weren't careful. But getting into the boat part of it then, some of these guys, they have one of them on them. And what this actually does here is once the boat gets going somewhat up on the plane, what it does, some people say it creates a vacuum. What it basically does is it breaks the damn seal between the boat hull and the water itself. Alright, by doing this, it creates an air pocket here under it. The air pocket continues under the boat. Sometimes, depending on how it's designed, it'll flow forward, that air pocket. What happens is this boat now becomes coming off of the water. The bigger the boat, the more of these they will more likely have sometimes. Alright, coming down this way here, up another one here. And they're generally located in that area where you'll see the boat come out of the water, and all of a sudden that part of the boat does not want to come out of the water. In that area there is generally where they need to free this boat to get it basically where to start kind of walking a little bit. Hydroplane there, get some air up under, get this boat going. This actually creates speed. It's very fuel efficient, and it does a lot of really good things, for that area. But if it's not done properly, it can cause a lot of damn problems. A lot of problems. Problems being you can start chime walking really bad. If you get too much air here, you have your outboards on the back side here underwater. All these bubbles here coming to the back side of the engine, getting into the engine, causing overheating. You got more bubbles going in here than you do actual water keeping the engine cool. It causes all kinds of craziness with the props and things like that too. Most of these designs that you see on boats like this are generally done on just the boats themselves and the certain horsepowers, and that's how that boat pretty much has to stay, you know, during its lifespan. So if you decide that, hey, I'm going to upgrade the boat and I'm going to add a little more weight to the back, or I'm going to add a little more weight to the front, that's generally going to cause a hell of a damn mess down the road as you're doing it. So if you, even if you decide to say, well, let's go into with a jet pump or something like that, where you're pulling air in, you know, or pulling water in to send back out of the backside of the boat, you're going to be pulling more air in than you're going to be pulling water in. So it's kind of a mess there that you're creating. As far as upgrading one of these, I wouldn't even bother to do it, or if I decide to take the boat on as a task to add another engine or maybe add a transom bracket to the back side of it, I wouldn't do that because you're changing the weight of them. They can turn into a real pain in the ass real quick. A lot of these do move under the hull of the boat here, like it's the bottom side of the boat here, and you'll have your brake here. Generally, they will run across like this, all the way across the side of the boat there, like so. And if you have a second one here, it will do the same as well. And you have the air where it runs from one side to the other. Pontoons of an airplane, I think they run completely on both sides like this here as well to free them up. It doesn't take a whole lot to break that boat from the ocean floor or the lake floor. I mean the water itself. It doesn't take a whole lot for it to do that. So it's pretty easy. Once you get it broke, the air's under it, the boat's moving, you just continuously keep going. So this is basically what this was set up for and how it was done and why it was done like it was for airplanes. I'm assuming your newer designs and boats in the future will more than likely be a little different. They will start leaning a little bit more towards the newer type of airplanes that are being ran in the water, where they actually sit in the water, because they run basically about like this here, and they can come up and then they'll get shallower as they're going towards the back with the engine in the water down in this area here. So this will be something that I look forward to seeing on a lot of race boats. Speaking of race boats, if you ever noticed, a lot of time on drag race boats that they'll actually, in the very front of the boats here, where they have the pontoons here, and they'll have another pontoon here in the front, and this will be the pointed section of it here. This is the driver's section here. The engine's in the back side here. Instead of having this here in the back side of here, they'll actually start them in the front here on the insides, right at the very beginning of the boat pontoons on the drag boats, stuff like that. If you pay attention to them, you'll actually see how they're setting that up. They want these things in the air quick to get them out of the water to plane quick. So the further you move them to the front, the faster they get up out of the water. But it also causes more problems in the ass end because it'll changes things around. But here's a video on it. If you like it and it helped you out, hey, give it a thumbs up. You know, if not, that's fine too. Y'all have yourself a good new year.